We're giving him this public record of the statue at large. He's saying that he still didn't know about the Susquehanna Trust. We give him the case law from the Supreme Court that they say that they have to create a fiction in order to deal with you. So, I mean, I can't put it any more clearer than that. If you want to do the research to understand what I'm talking about, that's why I give you the case law. You have to do your homework here. You just can't come into the discussion you don't understand and it slows everybody else down. You have to do some homework. You can't just jump into this and think that because it's over your head, that your question is supposed to stop everything to feed it to you in baby steps. Because sometimes you got to invest some time in it and stop and look and understand that there have been these discussions before. And there may be pieces missing, but these pieces are in plain sight, but you need to know where to look. And that's why I was trying to get, when he was talking about, I need precedent, I need case law. Well, here's the precedent. Here's the public information. The statute at large is not real. You don't understand about the Susquehanna Trust. You don't understand about the trust that we're speaking of. Then you need to read a little bit further, which is Bleecker versus U.S. That's a case that's not too old. It's 1956. But it fits into the fact that the fiction is what we need to understand that has this money that's paid for through our signature. And because we answer for the fiction, and we think that we're answering for a living, breathing human being, that's how we end up in jail, because the trust is what is supposed to be answering for the perceived wrongdoing. And restoration for the alleged crime, like Shirley was saying, if it's broken glass, even if the items weren't returned, the restoration is available to the person through the fiction, not the person serving in jail and going to involuntary servitude to pay the debt for society, because a human being is not supposed to be injured in commerce.
I like to say this, I pray for America. I see while we're in this state of condition, it's going to be hard to undo the thinking process that we've been trained to believe in. Like you heard him say, well, that's a crime. Well, because go to loaf of bread, is it a crime or could it be a civil? You think it was a crime, so you accept that this man gets 50 years. But technically, it's civil. So it's the mind that's going to take a long time. And this is why they've been able to get away with the things that they've gotten away with for the decades. And they'll probably continue.
Yeah.
Because it's hard for people to understand. And they're not good. Why would you teach people through elementary, junior high, college, the truth? Because if you do, it's a great chance that you start losing. But when you want to set things up so you can always be a winner, you teach them opposite. And that's what we don't seem to.
We've had a miseducation, a deliberate miseducation and misinterpretation of the facts that continues to this day. And I think that we have to be deliberate in sharing the information and putting it out here over these networks to bring this news and to bring the public record to the fact of understanding for public knowledge. In other words, like you were saying, I like your saying, but the way I did it is put it where the goats can get it so that everybody can understand it, so that a 4-year child can understand it, because this is something, it's the civics of the society in which we live, and we don't often understand how those civics actually operate. So we have to kind of share these time periods to be able to do these type of shows to discuss the history and bring about knowledge of the factual record such as the 14th Stat at Large 121 on the 13th of July 1866 not being real. That's where they're coming into court and saying they have jurisdiction to hear your case as a lawyer or a member of the bar. And
Right.
when we are looking at these things and we're talking about these things, we have a thing to do as journalists, those of us who do blog, to share this knowledge and to make it known, because this is a part of the public record. And it's in our face, but we don't have time to see it. Go ahead, sure. Sorry.
No, I'm saying you're right. And I was listening to the guy that was on here. He was so busy thinking about the question he was going to ask next, he didn't even hear. See, that's the thing. We're so busy thinking about our next question, we're not listening. And like you said, these people, they already know how we think, because they've trained us and they know how to act the opposite, and this is why we're going to always lose. And again, I have to go back. This is what bothers me when he keeps saying his president isn't doing anything. He's doing a lot. He's just so above the average grade. They're not understanding. We're trying to talk to them. They're not understanding because they've given us a sense of thinking, so they always be the winner. They're going to teach you different. So I don't know.
Well, we don't do the research, Shirley. You don't really get into doing the deep down research until you get stirred up into something. And until most people get that, I think we're always going to have this miseducation, because we got schools that are teaching us that the Constitution has a 14th Amendment that's not real.
Right.
So we're dealing with a upstream battle because people are not doing the research. People who don't do the research. Tomorrow, if we get on the show and we say the same thing again, there'll be someone else that will say, "Wait, you got to slow down and bring it back to me again," because they can't wrap their minds around the fact of the matter that what we have been taught is a lie.
And it kills me, the modified education. It doesn't matter how much education. If you've been taught wrong, what good is it?
You're right.
What good is it? You can have a PhD. If everything you've been taught opposite as the way the thing should be, it doesn't mean anything. So I'm not too...
The thing I always say about my PhD is when I earned my PhD, I learned how much I actually did not know. Because you understand that you master one thing, but you don't have full operational knowledge of all knowledge. There's still more to learn.
But you can't tell them that. Let me wrap this and say, so basically, what is supposed to be happening according to our understanding, we're supposed to be going back to the Republic. They're supposed to restore people. I'd like to ask you, have you heard anything? Has the Chinese did what they're supposed to do today?
I have not seen anything since we've been on air, but according to the, let's see, what is our time? I think the new day has begun, but I'm not sure. Wait a minute, hold on.
They're 11 hours ahead of us.
Well, hold on, because the new day starts with Greenwich Mean, so... Yeah, it's 20 minutes into New Day, so it's not quite there yet. Wait a minute, hold on. Okay, the day has just started in Beijing. It's 8:20 a.m.
Okay.
So we should see something in a few hours. I'll tell the people on ADVIA this: if something major breaks, stay tuned to the ADVIA page, and we will keep you brought. If something happens between the next day or tomorrow, we'll be back to air as soon as I can arrange a show. And considering that, we can go global at any time during 24 hours now. We can come back to air should something set up to break a little bit later in the day. So we want everybody to look around and have a look around and see what's happening, because you may get news that the reset may have begun. And I'm not really sure that this is going to be the reset that everybody says it's going to be, because they're saying that the same people, the Rothschilds, are behind it. So the end result of it is that this new yuan that's being introduced as we speak is supposed to not be accepting dollars. So we are going to have an interesting 24 hours. So we're going to keep a ear to the ground and promise you that we will bring this back live via Spreaker and via TalkShoe, so that we can make this do a follow-up on this story, because this is something that everybody's watching. And another thing that is happening that we did not mention is that in the last few business days, last week, the Board of Governors of the Federal Reserve met 4 times last week. That's for make a measure of 6 times, and there was a meeting that was scheduled for today. Now, the only time that the Board of Governors meet with such frequency is when something big is happening. And so that's what has our radar jammed right now, to speak, because of the frequency of the meetings of the Board of Governors, the release of the yuan, of this new Chinese yuan that is gold back, meaning that our fiat currency is no longer, stands a chance of no longer being the main currency and shutting the United States out. So we are watching to see what's going to happen. Well, that being said, Shirley, you want to take us home?
I want to know. Give me that Bleecker versus who again?
Bleecker, Bleeker, the U.S., the United States.
Okay.
And located at, one moment, Bleeker.
You said B as in boy, what?
Bravo, Bravo, Lima, Echo,
Okay.
Kilo, Echo, Romeo, Bleecker.
Okay, Bleecker. I got it. I'm putting it in here for him, because he's there. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, because I mean,
This is beautiful.
yeah, and do you want statutes of where it's located? Because I can give you that too.
Okay, I'll write it down.
Okay. 350 U.S.
350 U.S.
179.
179.
Right. And the case was heard in 1956.
Okay, 19. Thank you, that's excellent. Okay, there it is, sir. Okay, so therefore, I hope even having this case, I'm hoping that they can still follow, but we shall see.
Well, that's why it's important that if somebody says that they have a hard time conceiving of what we're talking about because they think it's theory, well, if it's so much theory, it's a Supreme Court case that talks about why it exists.
And you know what? I have to say, I hadn't heard of that case. That's good. So they're telling you why they had to do that, because that's the only way they can deal with it.
Yeah, because I mean, the government is a fiction. The government is not real. The lines on the map that we commonly see, we don't see them in reality. But we acknowledge that they exist because we agree that they exist. And by that agreement, we give jurisdiction.
Okay,
You know.
you guys following that? Wow.
So, I mean, I hope I'm